Hi, welcome to session 2 for English 104A Research Writing. I want to cover some of the general topics and the hot topic questions that come up every session in a video PowerPoint share so that everyone can listen to those and see what's going on this particular week. For our topic outcomes, I want to share these not simply because they are part of our syllabus and part of the core curriculum, but because I want you to see how those course outcomes are going to build upon one another. So this week we're talking about a thesis. Notice the word preliminary. This is important because we're going to get better and better at this. We're going to keep refining it. We're also talking this week about academic and non-academic resources and what those look like. So those are sort of our bridge between our discussion thread going into the first draft of our paper. We're also going to analyze those, so we're not just finding and identifying what those elements are, but we are also analyzing them and sharing them. We also this week have a short quiz on plagiarism, so we have a full sort of walkthrough of the different topics like common knowledge and what exactly you should cite and how you should cite it. So explore that when you have the chance. Many of you do not have our reading guide yet, our book, but I want to encourage you to not just get a book like this and borrow it for a while or sell it right back. Some books are books that should be part of your personal library. They are books that are always going to be useful for a lot of different things that you are working on. So having something that covers basic writing structures, that covers what research is and how to accomplish that, is something that's really useful for your general library. So do your best to get the book when you can and catch up with reading those elements once you have it. I have sent out an email about Pearson Writer, and you do not have to have this. This is not 100%. You must have it. No particular grade relies upon it. However, here's my example. Do you want to go fishing without a fishing rod? I've definitely watched some great shows on noodling, so you can use your arms, you can figure out methods and means, but everything is a lot harder. There are a lot more steps involved when you don't have the best optimal tools. So something like Pearson Writer is not just for this class. We are introducing it to you here in research writing, but it is something that you can submit any paper for any class to, and they will give you feedback and support. Having worked with them previously, I find their work to be really well thought out, really carefully considered, and very useful to all of the students I've worked with. So please consider trying to find that and accessing it. So our assignments this week, we have a discussion thread. Notice the 20 points. Something that I like to comment on is that part of it is that you submit a main post, but the other part of that is that you need to read and respond to your classmates. It may not feel that important. You may not feel like you have something really extraordinary and amazing to share with others, but you do. By having an opinion, by reading what that person is working on and engaging with it, you are supporting not only your learning, but their learning. So I really encourage you for those full points to not just do your main post, but to do 2 peer responses. Our first research paper draft is due, so we're going to have 2 drafts. Please don't think of this as something that is final, that is concrete. It is the first full start of the conversation we are going to have. So right now I'm grading session 1 outlines, and that's our first part of the conversation, and then you will take that one step further for your first draft, and then again another step for your second draft until you get to your final draft. So these are all pieces that build upon one another. So the discussion thread. We want to think about every assignment in this course as part of a greater whole. So when you're looking at your discussion thread and you're saying, I need to discuss a resource, don't just pick any resource. Go do your learning, go do your research for your paper. This is a great time to be looking at the library and to say, oh, wait a minute, I have a couple red flags. I'm not finding what I'm looking for. I'm struggling with this. I need assistance. Because guess what? That's when you email me and you say, I need a little help with this. I need some support. And that's sort of the first hurdle for it. You're going to find those resources through the library database. You're going to contact me if you have any trouble with that whatsoever. Once you have a couple of resources, you're then going to analyze them and explore them through the assignment for our discussion thread, but also as a secondary means to say, okay, do I feel like I'm getting this? Do I feel like this is making sense? Is there anything that is just having too many questions for me, raising too many issues for me? Because that is, again, another sign that you need to reach out to me and arrange a time or an opportunity to discuss those different ideas. I'm your teammate. I'm here to help you. So I want you to be looking for those issues that rise up where you have more than one question and you say, what's going on with this? I don't know that I've really gotten it, because that is your chance to share with me. So we're working on things like formatting our reference. This is my chance to have some input there and assist you. You're assessing information. You're looking for more information. And these are all things that you're doing within this discussion thread, but also opening up the door for me to partner with you. Next, the first draft. So a couple of things to consider. I just have 2 items. One, we are looking at the basic structure of a paper. We need to be organizing it. We need to be looking for a thesis, and we need to be gathering solid academic resources. So one of the things I like to share about papers, and something that I still remind myself of when I'm writing, is that they're sort of repetitive in a sense. The first thing we want to do in our introduction is tell people what's going on. What are we going to talk about? How are we going to talk about it? Then in the body paragraphs, we actually do that. We tell them what we're going to talk about. And finally, in our conclusion, we do the same thing again. We tell them what we talked about. So essentially, once I finish a work, I go back through, I reread it, and that's when I write my conclusion by restating what I've discovered and then providing a final sort of conclusion and a stance. I want my reader to do something. I want them to feel invigorated. I want them to be looking at new and exciting questions when they finish reading what I've prepared. The other point I want to consider with one more slide is our thesis. We want to provide an argument. We want to take a stance. And we often offer a process. These can be 2 different sentences. We can have our thesis and our process. More often than not, I put them together. So what does that look like? Some samples, some ideas. So we would say possibly the effects of whatever our particular topic is are preventable. Then I have my semicolon leading to my process sentence. The 3 best preventions are, and then I'm going to spell them out in 3 mirrored elements. What about this one? Recovering from addiction is possible. So that would be the statement I am making. I'm saying that it doesn't hold someone for life, that they are redeemable in that sense, that they can escape it. So recovering from addiction is possible. The 3 key aspects of recovery are XYZ. And that's me presenting through my paper 3 specific elements that I think are the most important. So notice how I'm using those words. I'm saying most, the worst, the best. Those are superlatives that are going to help us write the best possible sentence. This isn't the sort of be-all, end-all of how you're going to approach your paper, but I hope that it helps you get started and gives you more confidence as you approach it. So have a great week, and remember the most important element: if you feel stuck, if you're struggling, if anything, it feels overly frustrating, I am your first point of contact. Reach out to me, ask some questions, explore the student lounge within our classroom shell, and get out there asking questions and being ready for answers.